I've seen it time and time again. I've had so many clients who have said, I have $1 million business. I'm going to do $1 million business that don't, because they negate the significance of doing the inner work. Did you know that only 1.9% of women entrepreneurs, 0.9% of Black business owners, and just 0.5% of Black women entrepreneurs ever cross the 7-figure mark? That changes right here. If you are ready for high-level, high-income conversations about all things millions, your mission, your mindset, your methodologies, your mandate, your movement, your messaging, your marketing, your metrics, and of course, your money, just by listening, your income is going all the way up. Every week, you'll hear powerful stories, transformational interviews, and $1 million business growth insights to help you scale and sustain a 7-figure business with grace and ease, not hustle and grind. I am your host, Dr. Darnyelle Jervey Harmon, award-winning spiritual business growth strategist, 8-figure entrepreneur, and God girl on a mission to help you experience abundance in your life because of your business. This is the Move to Millions podcast. Welcome home. Before we dive into this week's episode, let me ask you something real quick. If this podcast has ever made you think deeper, shift something in your spirit, or take bold, bankable action in your business, would you do me a favor? Would you take a moment and scroll down and leave us a rating or review? Listen, that's how we grow this message and get it into the ears of more 7-figure CEOs and 7-figure CEOs in the making. Your words matter. Your support matters. So please take a moment to go ahead, rate, review, and then come right back, because this episode is about to shift everything. Welcome back to the Move to Millions podcast. I am your host, Dr. Darnyelle, God girl, 8-figure entrepreneur, and award-winning CEO of Incredible One Enterprises. We are in a series all about soul leadership, and I am having so much fun. I hope you are having fun as well. We've talked about confidence, we talked about alignment, and we did the overarching that strategy is not enough, right? That we really need to do this soul work as well. And so this week, we're going to get into one of my favorites, surrender. Now, let me sidebar and say this. Soul leadership is the softer side of entrepreneurship. It's the work that most people don't want to do. They just want to learn how to make the strategy work, how to get the webinar to convert, how to get the challenge to convert, how to sell from the stage. And don't get me wrong, all of those skills are important and we do need to learn them. And we also need to do the inner work. I believe that 95% of your success is tied to the 6 inches in between your ears. 95% of it. I think life is mostly how you think, how you feel, and your level of worthiness, more than it is the tactical strategies and even the decisions that you make, although the decisions that you make are going to be flowered by how you feel and what you think. I remember years ago, the very first time I saw a formula, and I've modified the formula some, but it was your thoughts equal your feelings and belief, which equals your actions and your results. This is how I've modified it. Your thoughts equal your feelings and beliefs, which affect the words that you speak, which affects the actions that you take and the results that you get. What you think about, you ultimately bring about. And if we're not careful, we could miss the mark on what we want to experience in our life. Do you realize that the average human, that's you, that's me, has 60,000 thoughts a day? 60,000. Now, you are not conscious of all 60,000 of those thoughts. You're actually only conscious for about 3,000 or 5% of them. The majority of the thoughts you have every single day, 57,000, are subconscious. That means these are the thoughts that are ruminating when you're not paying attention consciously. Like you might consciously say, I'm going to wear the black shirt today, right? But there are subconscious thoughts. Here's my best way to explain subconscious mind to you. Have you ever gotten in your car in one place? You remember starting it, for those of you who still start your car that way, or starting it. You remember putting it into drive, and you remember setting off on your journey to go home. And then the next thing you remember, you're on your street, you're pulling into your driveway or your garage. You do not remember consciously the drive home, but you made it safe. There was a protective hedge around you, and you could drive those roads with your eyes closed. It almost like you was. That is the power of your subconscious mind. Every single day, you replay the patterns that have already been established and anchored in to your cellular memory. And until you learn how to break those patterns and to reset your cellular memory, you will continue down a path that takes you far away from what you say you consciously want. I've seen it time and time again. I've had so many clients who have said, I have $1 million business. I'm going to do $1 million business, that don't, because they negate the significance of doing the inner work. Of course, when they come and work with us, we do all of the inner game work as well as making sure that the outer game strategy is set for their ideal client, for their industry, for their product or service, because there are some nuances in strategy that you have to make sure that you have right. But by and large, invariably, the challenge that you have that's keeping you from 7 figures is not a strategy problem. It's a soul leadership problem. Hence the reason for this series. And so I'm excited that you're here with me today. If this is your very first time here and listening, welcome. Congratulations. Welcome home. I want you to make sure that you go subscribe to however you're listening right now on YouTube, on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, however you're listening. Go ahead and subscribe. That way you'll be notified when our new episodes come out every single week. Every Monday we play a new full-length episode, and every Wednesday we play a new quick Move to Millions minute with an affirmation and prayer to anchor in the key thoughts and takeaways from the full-length episode. My job is to support you all week so that you make one move closer to your first or next 7 figures in a community and alignment with me through this podcast. And the point at which you are ready to go beyond the podcast and you want me to get my hands in your business, I welcome the opportunity for you to go and learn more about our House of Millions programs. That's our business advisory suite with levels of programs to support you where you are as an entrepreneur and small business owner to help you make the move to millions in a way that honors your soul and fortifies your strategy. So I invite you to click the link in the show notes if you are ready to apply for a soul and strategy conversation with me or a member of our team. The reviews are in. Move to Millions, the proven framework to become a $1 million CEO with grace and ease instead of hustle and grind, is a bestseller. With thousands of copies sold, we are raising a generation of $1 million CEOs. You got next. Grab your copy and our bonuses today at movetomillionsbook.com. If your business is already making $400,000 a year or more, and you know you're the bottleneck to scaling, it's time to get in proximity to high-level strategy and soul-aligned execution. Apply now for Proximity, our mastermind for mid-6-figure CEOs ready to scale and sustain 7-figure businesses. All the details are waiting for you right now at movetomillionsmastermind.com. Again, today we're talking all about surrender and releasing control to receive overflow. Let's just say that one more time. Releasing control to receive overflow. Let me tell you what I like about that. The action of release is creating space. And the space that you create when you release is what you receive in the overflow, because now you have capacity to take in overflow because you've released something that is no longer serving you. Oh, that is so good. I'm excited. That was not in the notes and part of the plan. You've been trying to strategize your way to your next level, But what if your next level isn't something that you can figure out? It's something that you have to surrender to. What if your delay isn't about missing a tactic? It's about refusing to let go of control. This is your invitation to trade performance for partnership, to stop managing your miracles and to finally trust that what's coming is better than what you're planning. Oh, this is why I have to create notes for every episode. Those of you who are listening to the audio, you don't see my iPad with my notes on it. Those of you who are watching the video version, you see the iPad. This is exactly why I create notes, because I have so many ideas that come into my brain that I want to share with you, and I want to make sure I get the key concepts down to you, and I share them with you in an energy that does justice to how I felt when I was preparing for this episode. So let's be clear. Surrender is not about being passive. It is about partnership. It's not about giving up. It's about giving God space. Oh, that's good. Giving God space. In the natural, it might look like you're letting things go, but in the spirit, it's how you multiply. When you surrender, you stop treating God like a consultant and start honoring God as your CEO. Can I get a witness? Oh, that is so good. Important for you to understand this about me. I was not always a surrendered vessel. I grew up and graduated from, if you want something done right, do it yourself, university. Did you go there too? I talk about that in my book, Move to Millions, The Proven Framework to Become $1 Million CEO with Grace and Ease instead of hustle and grind. If you don't have a copy of the book, stop playing. It's on Audible. It's available wherever you like to buy your books. I like to get the Audible version and the physical copy anytime I'm reading a book. So I listen to it on Audible while I'm going through it and highlighting and earmarking in the book. That's my little secret strategy. You're welcome to it. I try to read a book a week. So important, because I believe that readers are leaders, and it's really a game changer. I talk about surrender in my book. It is a big part of operational obedience, which is the O in the MOVE acronym for Move to Millions. For many high achieving women, I'm one too, we try to control everything, and control is really a trauma response. It's about everything that we've survived. So we've survived over functioning, over planning, and over delivering, and even overthinking every single thing that we need to do in our lives. I'm lumping myself in there because, like I said, I graduated from If You Want Something Done Right, Do It Yourself University. Now, I have since denounced my involvement and given them back their diploma, but I was a card-carrying member of being in control. Janet Jackson's Control. Listen, I've been there, done that, got the t-shirts. But what I realized on this journey to 8 figures is that surrender is a whole business growth strategy, and learning how to trust that there are forces in this universe that are greater. The Bible says, my ways are higher than your ways. So you can think through a strategy and you can have it all mapped out, and it can still go wrong. Or you can think through a strategy, you can set a goal and plan, and you can detach from the outcome, and you can watch God work. You can watch you giving him something to bless, show up and show out in the results that you get. Listen, you cannot beat surrendering to God. And it happens in all areas, even with clients, right? Even when you want to close a client. Now, let's be clear. The one thing that none of us can ever control is when a client is going to say yes and enroll. We can market until we turn purple. We can follow up until we turn green. But we cannot make them enroll. We cannot govern that. And the marketplace that we're in right now, where buyers' sales cycles are slowing, clients are taking longer to decide. They're lingering longer through the decision, not necessarily because they don't trust you or trust what the results are you say you can help them to get, but because they're going through their own cycles of discernment because of some of the mistakes that they made ill-gotten during the COVID-19 marketplace, where money was just flying everywhere. And some of those bad decisions, listen, I made my fair share of bad decisions, investment decisions during that time period. It's causing a pause and more discernment and making sure. So setting a goal, putting something in place and giving God something to bless and then detaching from the outcome is the way that we level the playing field. I hold an event every year. Currently, the event is called Move to Millions. It's a 3.5 day, it's a vibe. It is a space where $1 million CEOs and $1 million CEOs in the making come to plan, prepare, and position for their next level of growth. It is soul and strategy. It is everything that they thought they needed and what they didn't even realize was keeping them from their next level, all wrapped up together in 3 days. I've been doing this particular event. We just finished our 4th and we're going into our 5th. We prepare for this event as a team. We run the strategy. We fill the room. We get people there. We have a run of show that honors the strategy that we put in place to get people to enroll in our programs. But Darnyelle Antoinette, she surrenders the outcome. I do not set a financial goal for the event. I know that sounds crazy. I'm a businesswoman, and I'm a damn good businesswoman, by the way. But I do not set a goal because I do not want my team showing up in strive, desperation energy. I want them to serve the attendees who have already made an investment in themselves to get in the room. Our event is an investment. And we want to honor the investment that people have already made to get in the room. And I trust and I surrender. I think about Romans 8:31, which says, if God be for you, who can be against you? And I think about that and I anchor into it and I feel it in my body. And I release the need. I surrender from the outcome. I detach and I trust that there is no way that I can show up and show out and serve the attendees very well and God not do the same for me to make sure that we exceed the needs that we have for a business. Now, He knows the desires of my heart because He gave them to me. And I don't have to keep praying for the outcome I most want because He heard me the first time. And I can surrender, I can relinquish, and I can trust that it is all working for my good. And guess what? It always does. Surrender is a whole strategy. In and of itself, it is a strategy. Want to know what it's like to work with me and the Incredible Factor University coaching team? You can get started today with the Move to Millions 90-day business growth planner. 90 days at a time, you'll be setting your business on a trajectory that will make the move to millions happen much faster for you. It's got everything that you need to track every strategy, every sale, all of your KPIs, as well as your self-care and life transformational needs. We made sure we left nothing out of this amazing planner. And by accessing the planner, you'll get a behind-the-scenes view of what it's like to work with me and my team. Go grab yours today at movetomillionsplanner.com. If your business is already making $400,000 a year or more, and you know you're the bottleneck to scaling, it's time to get in proximity to high-level strategy and soul-aligned execution. Apply now for Proximity, our mastermind for mid-six-figure CEOs ready to scale and sustain seven-figure businesses. All the details are waiting for you right now at movetomillionsmastermind.com. So once you've mastered the grind and you've trusted your ability to hustle, but it doesn't get you where you want, I want to invite you to trust your capacity to surrender and receive. Because surrender, it can often feel like you're slacking, but what surrender really is, it's a significant opportunity for stacking. You will get more when you release. I think Fantasia says it. You know, sometimes you got to be willing to lose to gain in her song, right? Surrender is a sacred trust. 45% of entrepreneurs report burnout because they're trying to prove their worth through consistent performance. And it's not just physical exhaustion, it's spiritual depletion. You're not tired because you're doing too much. You're tired from trying to control what isn't yours to carry. I believe that surrender is a strategic lever. And here's the paradox. When you surrender, you become more powerful. I know that's crazy, but it's the truth. Surrender actually creates availability. It creates space for miracles, for insight, for aligned acceleration, for you to stop micromanaging your destiny. Wow. When you make room for divinity, for divine elevation, for divine alignment, for a divine shifting, for a divine orchestration, it can do what hustle never could do. It's a game changer. It really does. So here's a scripture to anchor this in. I love this. Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. Trust in the Lord with all thy heart and lean not into your own understanding. In all your ways, submit to him. Some versions say acknowledge him, and he will make your path straight, or he will direct your path. That's not just scripture. That is a scaling strategy. When you stop trying to force what's next will find you, because you'll be vibrating at a level in your surrender that it makes all the things come into your orbit, come into your life experience. So how do you practice surrender as a CEO? This is a question I get a lot. And so I'm going to break this down really practically for you. Surrender doesn't mean you sit on the couch and you wait for angels to do your marketing. It means you move, but you move with trust, not tension. Here's what that could look like. Taking aligned rest as a business decision and not just a luxury after you've burned out. Letting go of plans that no longer fit your future, even if they've worked before. Saying no without guilt because your yes has value. Trusting divine timing, even when it defies your calendar. Trusting that a no from a potential client you knew you were going to close just means that they're not ready to continue or to experience transformation through you. Releasing attachment to how the money, client, or opportunity must come. Because truthfully, surrender is the door that strategy walks through. And unless you open it, you'll keep working hard for results that require something sacred. Oh, so good. So here are 3 things I want you to focus on right now. Number 1, I want you to pray this aloud every single day. God, I surrender my timeline, my outlines, and my need to control what only you can orchestrate. I trust divine order more than my own plan. What I'm not saying is don't make the plan. Make the plan, set the intention, anchor into the intention, and then detach from how. Detach from how. How is God's job. How the million shows up is God's job. And your destiny is not tied to any one thing or person that chooses to walk away. Know that. Anchor into that. Surrender to that. Because this is the game changer that'll make the difference for you. Number 2, audit your to-do list. What are you forcing, over planning, or micromanaging? Circle the task where control is choking your creativity. And number 3, here are a couple of journal prompts. I'm going to give you some more journal prompts on the midweek episode. What am I still trying to control that I need to release? And what would my business look like if I trusted God fully in this season? And then I want you to be brave to actually walk that thing out, to surrender into it, to believe that you can't fail. There's no way you can fail. Again, if God be for you, it matters not who be against you. Surrender is not weakness. It's how wisdom builds wealth, and how wealth is built with ease and not exhaustion. I will never forget when I was in the shower. Wow, it's been about 18 months ago now. I was in the shower, minding my own business, handling my business, when I clearly heard the Spirit say, effort will not make the millions, embodiment will. Surrender is a strategy that means that you trust and embody that God has your back. He's always had your back, and everything is working together for your best and highest good. When you can operate your business from this space, everything changes. And know that every time you get a no, the next yes that's coming is going to blow your mind. And it's going to more than make up for what you lost in the no. Know that, trust that, surrender to that. I want you to look at where you are holding on too tight and what God is actually trying to do related to your business. And I want you to learn how to surrender and how surrender can be your most profitable strategy. That is what I desire for you. So if today's episode hit different, it struck a nerve, if you've been in a season of forcing, figuring, and overworking, then I want to invite you to apply for a soul and strategy conversation. Let's talk a little. I want to learn what's going on in your business. I want to audit your business. I want to find out what the big gaps are, and how soul leadership, along with the right strategy, could be the winning formula to get you on the path and trajectory to your millions. Nothing will give me more joy than to have this conversation with you. So I'll have the link in the show notes for you to go and apply for your soul and strategy conversation with me or with a member of our team. Because striving is no longer the vibe. Overflow is waiting for you to surrender. And I know that if you will leverage surrender as the most important strategy that you will ever use in your business, you will find yourself scaling significantly to and beyond the $1 million mark. You don't need to work harder for overflow. You just need to surrender more deeply, because when you let go, God gets to do what only He can. I'll see you guys next time. Take care. Thank you for joining me for the Move to Millions podcast. If this episode has impacted you in any way, would you please take a moment and rate and review? Doing so helps us to deepen our impact and expand our reach around the world. And if you are ready to start your very own Move to Millions, I highly recommend that you order your very own copy of my brand new best-selling book, Move to Millions, the proven framework to become a $1 million CEO with grace and ease instead of hustle and grind. You can get your copy and our bonuses today at movetomillionsbook.com. Until next time, remember, millions are your birthright, and to access them, you need only move. I'll see you next time.